Imagine for a moment that Congress passed a law tomorrow raising SSI to the federal poverty line. For an individual, that would mean an extra $337 every single month. I want you to pause and think, what would that change in your life? Would it cover your rent, your utilities, or maybe just allow you to finally buy groceries without cutting corners? Share your answer in the comments below, because every story matters. And while you're here, please like this video and subscribe to Social Security Post so you never miss an update that could affect your benefits. This video is specifically about Supplemental Security Income, SSI, which is very different from retirement benefits or SSDI, disability benefits. SSI is designed for people with very low income and limited resources, seniors over 65, as well as people who are blind or disabled, even if they haven't worked long enough to qualify for Social Security retirement. Right now, around 7.4 million people nationwide receive SSI either as their sole benefit or in combination with Social Security retirement. That's millions of households depending on one of the lowest safety net programs in America. Let's break down the hard numbers for 2025. The SSI Federal Benefit Rate, FBR, which is the maximum federal SSI payment, is $967 per month for an individual and $1,450 for an eligible couple. These are the amounts before any state supplements, which can add a bit more depending on where you live. Now compare this to the 2025 Federal Poverty Guideline, which sets the baseline for what the government considers poverty. For a single person, that's $15,650 per year, or about $1,304 per month. For a household of two, the line is $21,150 annually, or $1,762.50 per month. The difference is staggering. Individuals on SSI are shorted $337 every month, which means they're living about 26% below the poverty line. For couples, the shortfall is over $312 a month. That's not just a gap. It's the difference between scraping by and barely surviving. When SSI was created in the early 1970s, it was designed as an anti-poverty program. The entire purpose was to ensure that the elderly and disabled weren't forced to live below the poverty line. But here's the shocking truth. Congress never tied SSI to the poverty guidelines. Instead, they linked it to the cost of living adjustments that apply to Social Security benefits. Over time, inflation, rising costs of living, and outdated formulas caused SSI to drift further and further away from the poverty standard it was meant to uphold. Today, SSI is no longer an anti-poverty program. It's a poverty program trapping millions below a level that the government itself says is necessary to survive. And let's be clear, SSI isn't paid for by Social Security taxes. It's funded directly from general federal revenues, meaning Congress has the power to fix it if they choose. Now let's talk about something especially unfair: the SSI marriage penalty. Two adults living together as an eligible couple receive only $1,450 a month. If they were treated as two separate individuals, the combined amount would be $1,934. That's a penalty of nearly $484 every single month just for being married or living together. For a program that is already well below the poverty line, this penalty pushes couples even deeper into hardship. It's a cruel disincentive to marriage and family stability, and it's one of the biggest reasons advocates continue to fight for reform. Lawmakers have introduced bills like the SSI Restoration Act, which would finally bring SSI into the 21st century. This proposal calls for raising benefits to 100% of the federal poverty line, ending the marriage penalty so couples can each receive the full individual amount, and modernizing the outdated resource limits that currently cap savings at $2,000 for individuals and $3,000 for couples. Those asset limits haven't been updated since 1989, which means people are forced to remain in financial poverty just to keep their benefits. The Restoration Act would raise those caps to $10,000 and $20,000, with automatic adjustments for inflation going forward. It would also fix harsh income disregards and eliminate penalties for receiving small amounts of support, like food or shelter from family. On paper, these reforms are simple, but the impact would be life-changing for millions. Let's make this personal. If SSI were raised to the federal poverty line, individuals would see their checks jump from $967 to $1,304 per month. That's $337 more every month, or $4,046 more per year. Couples would see an increase from $1,450 to $1,762.50 per month, an extra $312.50 every month, or $3,750 per year. And if the marriage penalty were removed, couples could potentially receive even more. 2 full poverty line amounts instead of a reduced joint payment. Think about what those increases would mean for your bills, your food, and your dignity. For many, it could mean the difference between skipping meals and being able to buy groceries, or between eviction and paying rent on time. While we wait for major reform, there are a couple of updates you should know. As of September 30th, 2024, the Social Security Administration changed its rules so that food is no longer counted against you as in-kind support and maintenance. This means if someone helps you with groceries, your SSI won't be reduced. Shelter support, like help with rent or utilities, can still reduce your benefit, but the food rule change is an immediate relief for many recipients. However, the outdated resource limits are still in place for 2025, $2,000 for an individual and $3,000 for a couple. That means if you have more than that in your bank account, you risk losing SSI. This is why raising the limits is such a critical part of reform. So what can you do right now? First, share your story in the comments. How would an extra $337 each month change your life? Lawmakers may not always listen to statistics, but they do respond to personal stories. Second, call your members of Congress, both your senators and your representative, and demand they support SSI reform, whether it's the Restoration Act or similar legislation. And finally, make sure you know if your state provides a state supplement on top of federal SSI. Every dollar counts, and in some states, you may be entitled to more than the federal base. Let's recap. In 2025, the maximum SSI payment is $967 per month for an individual, while the poverty line is $1,304 per month. That's a shortfall of $337 every month, over $4,000 a year. The program that was designed to prevent poverty now guarantees it. The solution is straightforward. Raise SSI to the poverty line, end the marriage penalty, and modernize the rules that keep people trapped in poverty. This is not just about numbers on a page, it's about lives, dignity, and survival. Thank you for spending time with me today. If this video gave you clarity, please like this video and subscribe to Social Security Post for daily updates. Share this video with a friend or family member who needs to understand what's really happening with SSI. And don't forget to comment below, what would you do if your SSI went up by $337 a month? Your voice matters, and together we can push for change.